Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer, brought to you by Forge College. All right, so today we're taking a massive step forward in our advanced Solana concepts track. Specifically, we are officially capping off the comprehensive analysis of Sealevel execution module. You know all that hard-earned Solana analysis you've been doing? The stuff that probably looks like a totally chaotic web of raw logs right now? Well, today we're going to take all of that and turn it into a pristine master blueprint. We are finalizing the execution integrations report. Let's jump right in. There's a pretty harsh but very universal truth we have to face right out of the gate. A brilliant analysis absolutely does not matter if it's trapped in a messy draft. Seriously, we've all been there. You've got folders just overflowing with raw logs, perfectly mapped data, these incredible technical insights, but if you can't communicate them to anyone else, they're basically invisible. So following up on our last lesson where we integrated all our findings, today we are finally putting ink to paper. We're creating an engineering masterpiece so the next person down the line, like a peer reviewer or your project lead, can actually read, understand, and most importantly, use your hard work. Okay, here's our blueprint for today's assembly line. We're going to cover the final assembly line, gathering your raw materials, looking at the strict acceptance criteria, moving through the 3 build phases, hitting a quality control checkpoint, and then finally packaging it all up. Basically, this is the exact playbook for transforming raw data into a polished capstone without breaking a sweat. So, starting off with Section 1, the final assembly line, where we consolidate your validated evidence. Ultimately, your goal here is to produce a really tight 6 to 12-page report that explains the Sealevel execution model and your specific optimizations. But look, the absolute crown jewel of this whole thing, it's a clear executive summary, coming in at exactly 300 to 500 words. Now, you might be wondering, why so incredibly specific? Because this is the exact spot where you prioritize your top recommendation so non-technical stakeholders can act on it right away. A leader shouldn't need a machete to hack through 12 pages of raw trace logs just to figure out what to do next, right? Your summary hands them the exact answer, right on a silver platter. Moving on to Section 2, gathering your raw materials, bringing past deliverables into the present. All right, so you're going to need 4 crucial tools for this step. First up, your scoped analysis plan. Second, your structured evidence set. The one with all your raw logs. Third, your analysis artifacts, which are basically those beautiful integration diagrams you've made. And fourth, the narrative alignment draft, where you went in and resolved any conflicting evidence. Honestly, if you have these 4 things sitting ready on your desk, you are completely good to go. Let's build. Which brings us to Section 3, the acceptance criteria. Think of these as our rigorous building codes. Just like a real building, you've got to meet some strict codes. And for us, there are 3 main criteria. Number 1, a clear execution model. And I mean clear. You can't just vaguely describe it. Your report absolutely must include an integration diagram in SVG or PNG format. And yes, it needs a legend. Number 2, validated findings. Every single finding has to be backed up by a table linking directly to your validation checklist and the raw log file names. And finally, number 3, actionable optimizations. You need to deliver at least 3 concrete optimizations, and each one needs an evidence anchor, specific implementation steps, and measurable KPIs. Skip even one of these and, well, your report is officially incomplete. Okay, Section 4, the 3 build phases: embed, refine, and format. We're going to attack this whole thing iteratively. In Phase 1, we embed and annotate our evidence. Then in Phase 2, we go in and refine our narrative and recommendations to make absolutely sure they have crystal clear targets. And finally, Phase 3 is where we format the document so it perfectly meets all those strict module standards we just talked about. So let's actually zoom in a bit on what makes Phase 1 successful. The absolute undeniable key to Phase 1 is mastering what we call the evidence anchor. This is just a 1-line citation that links your efficiency claim straight to a raw trace file. Because look, simply claiming a process is inefficient? Not going to cut it. You have to literally drop the anchor. You need to be able to say evidence trace file 42, checklist entry 5. It's like a magic ingredient. It completely elevates your report from just being a speculative opinion piece into a fully auditable, hard engineering truth. Then, as we move into Phase 2, all those vague ideas, toss them right out the window. Every single optimization you propose needs 4 specific things. You need a clear rationale that takes up about 1 to 2 paragraphs. You need 3 to 6 specific bulleted implementation steps. You've got to have an effort estimate, low, medium, or high. And lastly, a strictly measurable KPI. For instance, something like Reduce median cross-program invocation latency by 15%. Let me be super clear on this. If you do not have a hard number, you do not have a KPI. It's really that simple. Next up, Section 5, Quality Control Checkpoint. Time to ask, is it actually ready for peer review? It's time for the model explanation check. Seriously, do this. Have a peer actually read your executive summary out loud to you. If someone with just general Solana knowledge can't instantly grasp your main takeaways from hearing it, grab a red pen because you need to rewrite it. And keep in mind, flow is absolutely everything here. If you need a diagram to explain a specific point, make sure it's sitting right there on the exact same page. No one wants to flip back and forth. You'll also want to run an evidence links check, along with a plausibility check. What does a winning recommendation look like? It's got concrete steps, completely realistic timelines, and an unbreakable evidence anchor. And a failing one? Well, it uses really weak verbs, has zero metrics, and leaves broken links all over the place. Take the time to go through your document and physically click every single file path. If you spot any vague, speculative daydreaming, replace it right away with hard, realistic actions. Finally, give yourself a brutally honest self-score against our rubric across 4 key categories: model clarity, evidence validation, optimization actionability, and formatting. Don't go easy on yourself here. Anyone reading this blueprint should be able to trace your boldest claim straight back to the raw evidence in your appendix in 30 seconds or less. Seriously, if it takes them 31 seconds, you need to iterate and fix it. And finally, Section 6, Packaging and Next Steps. Time to ship the blueprint. Now, you definitely can't just email a loose Word doc and call it a day, right? You need to properly package this. That means an exported PDF, your editable source file, and an evidence folder totally packed with your traces and diagrams. Then compress the whole shebang into a single, neatly named zip file. Pro tip, make double sure every file name inside perfectly matches your report references. We really don't want your reviewers getting lost in the weeds looking for a file that's named incorrectly. You know, completing this report isn't just about wrapping up a module, it's about building your foundation for what comes next. In our upcoming lesson, Why Gulfstream Exists, we're going to take all these perfectly consolidated Sealevel insights you just put together and use them to dive into transaction forwarding theory. You'll literally be comparing the execution patterns you've just documented right up against future forwarding designs. It's going to be awesome. You have officially mastered the execution assembly line, taking a mountain of raw data and forging it into a totally clear, actionable, and auditable technical report is no small feat, so kudos to you. If you've got some spare time, I'd highly recommend drafting a quick 2-slide demo to summarize your top recommendation. It'll absolutely supercharge your peer review conversations. Be sure to head over to forge.college to explore more programs and expand your Web3 expertise. But before I let you go, I want you to really ask yourself, now that you know exactly how to document and optimize the absolute fastest blockchain in the world, what inefficiency are you going to solve first? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.